Hello again, everyone. On behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. Today, we're going to be having a very interesting conversation with our dear friend Daniel Gutierrez, and this space has been named Journey to the Unknown. You will find out why we have called Journey to the Unknown. Daniel Gutierrez is a mindfulness leadership expert. He's an author, speaker, master life and business coach. Before starting with him, we just want to remind you really quick that you're going to be able to enjoy this space in Mindalia Radio. This is where we are offering you 24 hours of conscious music, conscious programming, information. You just need to click www.mindaliaradio.com. Having said that, I have the great pleasure of introducing our dear friend, Daniel Gutierrez. How you doing? Welcome to Mindalia once again.
Well, it's been a while. I'm glad to be back.
It's been a while, and we are happy to have you with us. There has been a lot of changes in your life, Daniel. There has been very interesting things. I am going to go ahead and ask you, where are you? What are you doing with your life? You traveled, you made a decision of leaving everything behind and going somewhere else. What's that? Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, let's see here. We're in 2019. I decided to leave Long Beach, California, where I had been the last 23 years raising my son. And I had made a promise to myself, and I told my son this, my 19-year-old son, when you graduate high school, I'm leaving. He says, where are you leaving? I said, I'm going to Peru. He says, you're not going to Peru. I said, yeah, I'm going to Peru. I'm going to move to Peru. I want to open a retreat center. And, I think a lot of people talk about doing things like that. And even my son was like, yeah.
Dan, it's like the idea of opening a bar, right? When you're talking with your friends and say, let's open a bar. That's the next stage. You're a little bit older and you say, I'm not calling you old, but you're a little bit more mature. And you say, let's open a hotel, a spa, a retreat by the beach or in the mountain. You made that true.
My son graduated high school June 12th, and on June 15th I moved. I literally I either sold it, I gave it away, or I threw it away. And that was a hard process, because when I made the decision to come to Peru, before I made the decision to acquire this land that I'm on, I came here and did a despacho ceremony and asked the land if I was supposed to be here. And of course, the answer came back, yes, this is for you. And I remember thinking when I was back in the US, well, what do you mean I have to get rid of everything? And I was being guided by the universe. I was being guided by spirit. You must come here with nothing. Your past does not serve you here. You must begin a new life. And I thought, yeah, sure. Well, before I left, believe it or not, I shred all my interviews, all my magazines, all my mom's pictures, my son's baby pictures, everything, accomplishments, everything I had done that I asked my son, I said, Mijo, do you want these things? He said, no, I don't want those things. He wanted the 65-inch TV. That was it. So I said, okay, I'll give you the TV. And so I thought, well, the only person that has an attachment to it is me. So, I knew when my mother passed away, it was the same thing. She had all these things. I didn't want any of it. It was like, I don't have an attachment to the stuff that she collected. So I did. I ordered this, and I didn't even know you could do this. You can order a truck that has a shredder in it. And they put all your stuff in a wastebasket, a big one. And they put it inside the truck, and then you hear, and my entire life was gone. Nothing.
Wow. I've seen those trucks. They use them for the legal offices and places in which they hold information that is susceptible of hurting anybody or something like that. Daniel, I didn't know the part of shredding, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I really, really, really want to ask you, how come you ask a land if you are welcome there? I need information. I need more details on that.
Well, I'm very attached to land, to nature. And I had learned over the last 13 years the customs of the people here in the valley, in the sacred valley of the Incas. That's where I am now. I am in the Andes of Peru. And I had learned the customs of doing a despacho ceremony for just about anything, asking the land, asking for protection, asking for rain, whatever it is. You know, I still do them. But it was very important to me to feel comfortable. I will tell you a funny little story. As I was walking this property, the first thought I had when I walked in the property was, no, it's too big. I do not need anything like this. And then, you know, my mother had passed away 2 years before I moved here, and I could hear her talking to me. Say, yes, 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 do it. This is your land. This is where you're supposed to be. And I remember thinking, and then I realized that the lady that was owned the property was watching me. I said, Mom, easy for you to say. It's my money. You're on the other side. I said,
You're not paying.
The lottery. You're not even helping me win the lottery. Come on, help me out a little bit. But anyway, asking the land was important to know in my heart, to know in my soul that this was truly a place. I mean, it's not every day that people, I mean, I even thought to myself, I'm 57 now, so I was 55 then. What the heck am I thinking? I'm no young pup. Starting over again? What am I thinking? It's you know, stick to a job, stick to, you know, retire already, you know? But I didn't have that in my soul. I've never been that way. I've always been a risk taker. And so I did. I came out here and I did a despacho ceremony, which is a ceremony to Pachamama. And the only thing that I was required to do, the only thing I heard is do not bring negative energy to this land. Do not bring negative energy. Do not bring, which means negative people, right? Or anything that would harm the land. My job was to be a steward of the land, which, as you will know later in the story, you know,
Basically the land owns you then.
Yeah, something like that. You like that, don't you? Yeah, they own you. They doesn't own me.
It is beautiful. There are so many things I want to ask you. We don't have as much time as we wanted to, but I've been following your process. I've been following how you left everything behind and you embarked in this adventure, wanting to bring people to the retreat center. But then COVID happens. Oh, sorry, that thing happened. And you are isolated for a month and completely by yourself for the whole 30 days. And that was a process of radical transformation. I know you love the word radical, but it was radical transformation. I want you to tell me the ups, the downs, what you found behind the experience.
What ended up happening here, it's not like in the US, they, you know, they ask you to wear the mask. When the pandemic hit here, we were in martial law, which I'd never been through. And what that meant was that you were not allowed to leave your house. The military ran the streets in their machine guns. If you did leave, you had to go directly to the grocery store and directly back. If you stopped to discuss or have a conversation with them, you went to jail. So outside of that, I was here. My employees couldn't come to work. I couldn't leave. And I was here going, okay, the first couple of weeks, I mean, it was like kind of fun. You know, it's like, oh, wow, it's an adventure. Then the third week,
Home Alone, South American version.
Exactly. It was Home Alone in Peru. And then I really got angry because I felt like, how did I make this investment? How did I move my entire life so that I could sit alone here? I had already been so successful here that I had 26 groups scheduled for this year and nothing. Everything went south. Everything crashed. And so those first 30 days were hard because I'm a people person. I like to see, you know, Zoom, you know, all that stuff. That's great. But I want to, you know, hug somebody, touch somebody, you know, have a conversation, see them, feel the energy. No, I didn't have that. So it was a very big lesson for me. However, that's the downside. The upside is that about 20 days into it, I realized that if I didn't do something, I was going to go crazy. I mean, literally crazy. You know, today they're talking about the stress of the pandemic, right, on people. Well, I felt that in 20 days. You didn't need 6 months. And so I really felt like, well, why am I here? What the heck happened? Why am I here? And I realized too much is given, much is expected. I came with a lot of experience, government experience, leadership experience, having authored 5 books. I mean, I really had a lot of gifts. And how was I going to use them to help, not empower, but to help support the indigenous people of Peru? There's 12 communities above PSAC that make about $2 a day. That's what their income is. And they were cut off completely from society. Now, mind you, they say, well, those people have food. Yeah, they papas, I mean, potatoes. They have potatoes, but at those altitudes, you can't grow anything else. So they didn't have oil to cook with. They didn't have pasta, the things that they eat, right? They can't grow that. And so I had this one day, this one few days where, and this is interesting because it always gets me emotional. I was so upset that I said, I'm going to do what I know. I'm going to get really radically mindful and go into ceremony and play my flute and just find out why I'm here. And listen to this. So remember, I asked the land permission to be here. Now, fast forward I hadn't even been here 5 months when all this happened, I think, something like that. The land again spoke to me again during this time of quarantine. This time it said, when you came here and asked me for permission to be here, I said yes. When you got here, all your people took care of the land. They did the mowing, they did the gardening, but you never put your hands in the soil ever again. I said, take care of me, but you abandoned me. What I want you to do is I want you to put your hands in the soil and treat me the same way you treated your dying mother. Then you will feel complete. Then I was so blown away by that. Like, okay, so the next day I have a big property here, and there's no lawnmowers because of rocks. So we have these weed eater, weed whackers, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know how to use it. I had to go to YouTube, figure out how to, I mean, if you could see my dogs, I was a cartoon to them. They were like, he's going to kill us. He's going to kill us with that thing, right? But I literally got into the land. I put my hand in the soil. And because there was no one here, I had to learn how to garden. I had to learn the system of the land. I had to mow the land. Even when my employees finally got here, they're like, who mowed the land? I said, I did. They were like, oh my goodness, we have, Senor Gutierrez is working in the property. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. But that process brought me to a place of acceptance, of realizing something. This is what's important about when people ask me for my bio. And I realized this during an interview. Someone said, tell us who you are. I said, what difference does it matter what that piece of paper says when that's the past? I can tell you who I am today, but who I was doesn't matter. It only matters to those that want to soothe their ego.
Wow.
And so today I say, and at that point, I began to become part of the community. And I and a team of people, I bought the food, the things that the people needed in the communities. And we served about 360 families, which is about 4,000 people. We brought them, what they needed, matches and oil and pasta and salt, things that they need. The only thing I wouldn't give them is sugar because I felt that they don't need sugar. And they do, but not for me. And so
exactly.
That became, that created an opportunity not only to respect the land more than I had before, but to also respect the indigenous communities that are around me. And today, what I'm excited about, I'm gonna have a group come next week for the first time since December. I haven't had an income since December, right? And yet, the land has provided everything. Today, I have a garden. I have a 1.5 acre garden. Now, I'm not a gardener. I mean, when we got here, they were like, oh,
you were not a gardener.
No.
The one before.
They used to say, well, you need to build a garden. I don't need no damn garden. I just go to the market and get what I need. Now, I planted carrots. I planted onions, corn, beans, potatoes. I have oregano. I have parsley, everything I planted. 1.5 acres is big. That's a big garden, right? And so why? Because I realized that the people in the communities couldn't afford to buy these vegetables. So I said, I have plenty of land. I'll grow and I'll pay for to grow it, and you come pick it and take it with you. And so it's a community garden. So during this time where I thought I was destroyed, I reinvented myself into something very much different than what I was. I wanted to hang on to that really, well-dressed $1,200 suit Daniel Gutierrez that lived in the States, but that's not who I am anymore. Actually, I realized how materialistic I was, and how much things meant to me. And I know that because I made one trip back before the quarantine, and I wanted here everyone carries I'm gonna say mochila, a backpack. Yeah, a back. See, I speak Spanish all day long, so
Whoa, fully bilingual, sir.
I know. So my backpack, and I thought I'm gonna get a fancy one. So where do I go? I go to a Coach store. Now, to those of you that are in the U.S. that understand what Coach is, ain't nothing in there cheap, right? So I bought this $750 bag, to bring back here to wear. And I thought to myself when I was in Cusco, no one cares you got Coach. They don't even know what Coach is. And why would you spend that much money on something that doesn't matter? And I
You could be
realized
buying actually 75, cheaper backpacks and give it to people now that you are in that flow. Daniel, what I think when I hear you say, and I'm really sorry to interrupt you, I'm just like a racehorse wanting to ask you more questions, is after I hear you, it's just the manifestation of aligning with abundance.
yes.
It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with what we our civilization understands of being rich. It has everything to do with being provided by the actual source, right?
It's more than that. Someone asked me, how do you know you made the right decision? And this was my answer. All my life, and I've had a very successful life. I've done many things that most people don't even dream of. And every time I finished something, it wasn't enough. I always wanted more. What else can I do? What else can I put on my resume? What else can I say I've done? Here in Catalina, which is my retreat center, I get up every morning and I grab my coffee and I pet my dogs and I walk my property because I've planted thousands of flowers. And the difference is that my soul is happy. I'm happy from the inside out rather than the outside in. Nothing is impressive to me anymore. I even sometimes watch my friends and go, why do you have to think that way? Because I've had this realization that life is really more about what nature has to provide for you, what your friends, family here means something. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything in the US or in other parts of the world, but here people don't care about what you have. They want to care who you are.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you think that maybe that happened or you are able to see that because you left everything else behind? And maybe 1995 or 2005, Daniel, could have been where you are but didn't realize what you're seeing right now? Do you think it may have to do not with the place itself, which of course we know it's a place of wonderful things, but your ability to acknowledge and recognize what's going on around you and connect with people on your same frequency, probably?
It's funny that you bring those dates up because in 2007, I posted my very first picture of myself on Facebook. And someone had sent me this thing about put your two pictures together, the first one and the last one. And so I put the two together. One very professional with hair, Daniel Gutierrez, in a fancy suit, the whole thing. And then me today. And everybody commented and said, you look genuinely happy today. Your eyes sparkle, your smile is even bigger than it usually is. And we can feel your joy. It's not like I wasn't happy in the other picture, but it was because I was trying to impress people, trying to fit into a place in our culture that says that until you reach a certain success level, then you're nobody. Well, I did reach that and I still felt like nobody. But that's the
What
difference is
happens
here.
is that there's always a newer car, a newer iPhone, a newer coach bag.
Yeah.
So it's
And here I walk. For the last, I've been here since, June last year. So almost what, for 15 months, I walk everywhere. I walk. I mean, this guy would not even walk in New York. You'd have to give me a black car to pick me up to take me somewhere. But
if
I
you
tell
could
you
go
what,
to 2005, Daniel, and tell him something and tell him that you're doing that, would he believe it?
I don't think so. No, not at all. Because I was way too caught up in, keep as they would say, keeping up with the Joneses. And none of that made me happy. As a matter of fact, I was so in debt that it was like I had no choice but to keep going, to keep going, to keep going. Something happened on July 14th this year, which we were still in the pandemic. Well, we still are, but we were still in quarantine. But I decided that for my anniversary, I wanted to have a party. And they were like, Daniel, you can't do that. That's you can't have more than 10 people at one time, and you can't party anyway. Long story short, as I said, I worked in government, so I knew how to invite the right people. So I had a party here for my anniversary,
You invite
and
the neighbor that brings the gossip, right? So she doesn't
yeah,
say anything.
I gotta have them all next to me so that I know what they're saying. I had all 12 communities, their presidents and the people come. They came here in their typical dress. There's a video on my Facebook page, and I remember I had them all sitting, social distancing. I made them wear their masks, did everything we're supposed to do. And when they got up there, the one of the ex-mayor, who is the minister of culture now, got up there to say something before we started doing something, because I was dancing and having a good time. He said, "Look at your family. Nobody has been able to pull these communities together the way you have. They're here for you. They walk from their communities down here to be with you. This is your family. This is what you've created." That's the difference in who I was back in 2007 and because I was a loner for a long time. I was successful, looked like I had a lot of friends, but I was always alone. Here, I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
I wonder what you think or what you understand now about the plans that life has for us, how those threats are needed, and what do you think about it? Like, people has a purpose, people has a destiny that to be fulfilled, because your story as of right now, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to keep increasing in adventures and in magic. It's a one of a kind type of a story. You were meant for this. That was your call. All this time you were preparing just to get tools to help you build what you're building right now. And if other people, if someone would look up to you and say, "Can that also happen to me?" What would you say?
Absolutely. But who was this artist? He said, life has a way of teaching you how to live it if you live long enough. If you live long enough. That life has a way of giving you the instruction manual, but it doesn't come easy. It comes with time. Because we have to go through whatever we have to go through to have the wisdom to understand when we've arrived at some location that gives us this great deal of pleasure and joy that I have every time I walk this property. Like, I'm truly connected here. I said, I'm not coming back to the US. I'll come to visit because my son's there. But this is home. This is home. This is where I live. This is where I feel comfortable. And the blessing in all of those things that I can say I've done throughout, and I've done a lot, are serving me here, because now I can teach others how to grow their business, and governments and cities that are asking me for advice on, because when we have the kind of experiences that give us the wisdom that I feel I have today, we can share that. We can share that wisdom and better the communities that are around us. I said to the communities when I was speaking that day, I didn't come here to run a retreat center to become rich. I came here to be part of the community. I came here to be a Peruano. I am American, Mexican American, but I am getting my papers. I am going through the process because they're just like, oh, we're going to have a big party. Well, they have a party about everything. Every time I turn around, we have a party. It's like most South American countries, right? It's like you drop a hat, oh, drink a beer. Oh.
I'm about to think that you were dropped in the wrong country at birth.
Very, very much.
No, because actually you were able to fit in. Probably you weren't fully fulfilled. You weren't completely unleashed. But it was the place where you would get all the knowledge that you have now to apply it somewhere else. It's like a beautiful exchange between everything that they are giving you and what you're bringing from your experience. Of that other Daniel, not you. I'm sorry, the other one.
Yeah.
The one that left in the shred trunk.
There's 57 or 54, 55, 57 facets in a diamond. And I've taught this before. In order for a brilliant diamond to shine, that's why it's called brilliant, then every facet in that diamond, the more of those facets that are in alignment, the more expensive the diamond, right? When all of those facets are shining correctly and reflecting light, not reflecting, refracting light, then the light shoots up through the crown, up into the sky, and it reflects in the eye. That's what causes the brilliance. We, as individuals, are multifaceted human beings. All of the facets of my life were important, or the light couldn't shine. For my entire life,
even the not nice ones, the dark ones.
Of course. The ones that put a grill on your teeth.
Those. Because we tend to enhance those areas in which we are more successful or we have a better ability, we flow better, but we tend to be very shy about those parts of us in which we're not doing so great.
But I'm a painter, I'm a writer, I'm a friend, I am an owner, business owner, I'm a dad. All these are part of that facet of that diamond, and we need to honor all of it. When I feel like painting, I'm an artist. When I feel like playing my flute, I'm a musician. And all those are part of me. They just don't always all come up at the same time. When we begin to honor all of it, we become whole. When we become whole, we're able to shine our light brighter. And when we shine our light brighter, we're able to impact and be part of community. And that's what's important. That's not what I've learned all my life. I mean, it's just not, but that's who I am today. And I'm very, very happy to be in that space.
That thing that you're saying, it's actually make me think about how, yes, we are meant to be bright. We are meant to share our light. And for some reason, what came to my mind is that your light is not for your own enjoyment, but for other people's enjoyment. Are we being greedy with life when we are not preparing ourselves or doing whatever it takes to get that refractment enhanced?
I think that we just don't know. I mean, I didn't know. I've often written on my email, I am but a guide holding the lamp in a dark forest so you can find your way and hold that same lantern for the next person. That's our job. That's my job. Maybe it's not yours. It's my job. It's to keep holding the light. Too much is given, much is expected. My life has been full. I've said many times that I think that life is successful today. Success is not the same. Back then it was clothes and shoes and cars. I think that today I see that the level of success connected to much more than I ever dreamed of. I want to say I wish I had known this earlier, because I see a lot of people who are more family oriented than I was. But I don't think I would have been able to deal with it. I think we have to go through whatever it is that life has for us to become that beautiful diamond to shine. So that it's kind of like at 57, I'm going, you know what? I tell my son this a lot. I said, mijo, your dad has lived a full life. I have made peace with life and I have made peace with death. If something happens to your dad, he's okay. I'm good. I am really, really good. And I think when you have that level of acceptance for life and death, then you can really appreciate what's around you. And unfortunately, for most people like me, it comes with age. It comes with with seeing things and realizing I don't need to get so excited about that. I don't need to get so bent out of shape about that. It doesn't serve me in any way. And it surely doesn't serve anyone else, and that's the part I think that makes my soul happy, when I walk this property. It's like after all the things I've been through, after all the disappointments and the sadness and the relationships, and I can actually walk this land and go, wow. I remember telling somebody who was here before the last group in December, and I said to her, because she asked me a question, I remember what it was, but she was a young person. And I said to her, just know this, someday you will walk somewhere or be with somebody, and you will know in your heart you've arrived where you were supposed to. Just keep walking. I did, and here I am.
You're gonna make me cry then, and that's not supposed to happen. I'm hearing you, and something that comes to my mind is the fact of taking care of ourselves. You said if we live enough to realize, if we live enough to understand the messages and the lessons that life has been teaching us since we just got here. How have you changed your eating habits, for example? Like now that you understand that the newer Dan was just born last year, what are you doing for that newer Dan to live enough to enjoy plenty?
Well, I don't know if don't remember if you knew me back then, but I mean, I lost like 50 something pounds before I came here. I was heavy. My knees hurt, my back hurt. I mean, I was falling apart. And when my mother passed away a few years ago, I said, I promised her, I said, I'm going to get healthy. I don't want to die young. I don't want to die young. I mean, I'm just beginning to live. I want to be healthy. So I lost the weight.
I agree with you.
I lost the weight, and, I watch what I eat here. Unfortunately, the people in the communities don't like I'm single. They don't like I'm thin. They don't like I'm thin because they think that if you're thin, you're not eating. And so they give me a lot of papas. They give me a lot of food. But
your own food from your garden. Come on, that's like ideal diet.
Yeah, well, but that's why I'm planting everything, right? Because first of all, I learned through this quarantine that I need to have food here in case I can't go get it. And I have everything here that I have chickens, I lay eggs. I have, I'm getting the big long-haired goats to make goat cheese. I mean, I'm really just, I have a little farm. I have chickens, I have rooster, I have bunnies, I have sheep, I have dogs. I'm getting some more llamas and alpacas. It's like a little farm here, And
like a dream come true. And I understand for what you're saying. You found that point in which that's where you're supposed to be, and you're fully completed. But what's next? What's gonna happen next? Are you planning this experience? Is worth a book for what we've been talking, and all the realizations and the awakenings of after solitude and confinement. Are you planning on writing?
I have, I've worked out the chapters already, the titles, working titles, what they're called. And the working title of the book is The Agony and Ecstasy of Living Your Dreams. No, it's what is it? I'll think about it in a minute, but I wanted to say that. Yeah, but I am writing a book. And one thing that I want to say about living your dreams, because that's what I'm doing now. There's never a time. There's no age limit. There's no time limit. There's only an opportunity that you get to be honest with yourself and what you're willing to risk. You said something earlier I want to go back to. The letting go of all the stuff. I would have never been able to let go of that person had I not come here with almost naked. I mean, just two bags with nothing. I remember the first time I went and got a bottle of wine. I was so excited, only to realize that I didn't have an opener. And the town's 30-minute walk, so I couldn't go back. I wouldn't go back, so I just went to bed.
That's too good.
I went to bed, right? But listen, this is important. I asked the universe, how big can I dream? How big can I dream? How big can I dare to dream? And the answer came back, so big that only I can help you. And I did that. And I did that. Yeah. 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 No, I know. I know. Deep, deep down inside, I think we all want love. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about just love. Love from our friends, love from our family. And we make up stories about what that's supposed to be or not supposed to be. And the truth is that we don't find that until we can reflect into others in their eyes or in their souls the level of authenticity that it takes to love oneself. And and that when we love ourselves, and I mean through self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, really understanding that unless I'm willing to love myself to the level that I'll expect others to love me, then it will never happen. The expectations that we have of people around us is why we always feel like we can't find what we're looking for. The truth is, it's not just the expectations of others, it's the expectations of ourselves. And we live in a society that places social constructs around us that no longer work, no longer work. And I don't care what it is, whether it's marriage or work. Nobody works at a job for 65 years anymore. You're lucky to get 65 days. You know, those social constructs are hindering our ability to be authentic and to find our true selves. And when we live in a society that buying is more important than being, that's difficult. Because I know, coming from, you know, Long Beach and born in the US and being in the US all my life, I wouldn't have actually seen that. The other day I was sitting with a group of people here, employees. I had bought them food, and we're sitting at a plastic table. And I remember just laughing out loud and going, man, if I was in LA, I'd be like, I need my, you know, I need my custom made table, and you know, here's plastic. Why? Because those things don't matter. They really don't. And I think that our society has put us in a place. I think that this is why I think that we went through this phase in our world, the quarantines around the world. It's the first time in human history that we know of in our lifetime that we all have experienced the same thing, the same fate. And the lesson, though many didn't get it, was look in the mirror, get comfortable with yourself. Who are you? Why do you do what you do? Why do you work at your job? Why do you love this way? Or why do you do this that way? And if you can't answer those questions, then it's time to sit with yourself. That's the part that most people can't do. I mean, 20 days. I mean, well, I was in quarantine for 120 days, the longest in the US, in the world. 120 days. We were in quarantine. Couldn't go anywhere. 120 days. Finally, I got used to it, right? It's like I ain't going nowhere. It's okay.
Can imagine you like Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the little prince, that he was in his tiny planet, just taking care
Yeah.
of his plants, something like that. Dan, let's close this conversation with one very last question that arises. What would you say to people afraid of changes, afraid of the unknown, afraid of making or taking a leap into another chapter of their lives?
I think that this pandemic and this time in our life has taught us something. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. No one's guaranteed tomorrow. If this was your last day, what would you do? And live it like it was. And I think every day when I get up and I realize, even though I miss my son dearly, and I miss my friends dearly, I am living my best life because I choose to. And that today, I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please me.
Wow, again, you have left me speechless a couple times. Just 1 more minute before we're gone. So closing thoughts, dear Dan.
Wow. Take some time to really, I told a friend of mine recently, I said, if your calendar today is as busy as it was before all this happened, you've learned nothing. Slow down. If you really want to live your best life, slow down. Stay in the moment. Stay out of the past. Nobody cares. You can't control the future. So live your best life now. What would that look like? I challenge you.
I was going to say, wow, but I've said it too many times. So
I love it.
Again, thank you. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We love the fact that you share with us all your wisdom. We can't wait to visit you, of course. To the people with us, watching us or hearing us, because now you can also get this in our radio station or Spotify. Thank you. Thank you for being with Mindalia. We are here just to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness in the planet, that can help raise or make someone's day better. That's all we're doing here. We just want you to be happy. Big hugs from here. I'm leaving with a heart full of gratitude, and until next time. Bye-bye.